Story in 9 days, SNAP benefits in Tennessee will become unavailable due to the government shutdown, impacting hundreds of thousands of Memphians. Action News 5's Caitlin Miller spoke with State Senator London Lamar and some Memphians about the effects this could have in the Bluff City.
I'm here at the Tennessee Department of Human Services, where many Memphians come every day to get set up with SNAP benefits. But now, many people are here asking questions about what will happen once their benefits become unavailable starting November 1st.
It goes out for the single mothers that got kids. Now, what can we do? We can't feed our kids. Let alone, if we do have a job, again, what can we do? Because that was helping us.
Outrage and uncertainty, two things many Memphians who have depended on SNAP, like Kiesha, are feeling as the benefits are set to freeze. The Tennessee Department of Human Services confirmed this will be the case on their website if the government shutdown continues into November 1st. This means nearly 700,000 Tennesseans, roughly 152,000 living in Shelby County, will lose a food source many rely on to feed their families. And it's not just in Tennessee. Arkansas and Mississippi are also at risk of losing SNAP funding, which would leave about 240,000 in Arkansas and 385,000 Mississippians without benefits. The Mid-South Food Bank says they conducted a pulse survey of their partner agencies across all 3 states and found over half of respondents noted an increased need for food assistance over the past 3 months, and that's before any benefits have been impacted. State Senator London Lamar is calling for federal lawmakers to prioritize the people they serve over politics, so nobody has to go hungry.
What you're seeing is this Democrat, Republican fighting. People on opposite sides of the end won't come to the table, negotiate, and put people first. That is going to kill our state. That's going to kill our country, and is most importantly going to hurt families and kids.
For now.
All right, Shalom. Call Loyum, La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom to you fellow laborers out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity, especially during these times. Shalom to the Akwat that believed as well. A hearty shalom to you other laborers and believers that are scattered abroad, even if you're among the heathen and even look like the heathen who are speckled bird Israelites, to the whole household of faith, which is the elect. I want to say shalom to you. And as we know, before even the video clip I played to begin this video lesson or epistle, we know that the SNAP benefits, are being withheld from millions, millions, as November 1st, November 1st is quickly approaching in the coming week. We're going to see what happens, with regard to you Israelite women that are on SNAP benefits. And the Israelite woman is the so-called Negro, the so-called Latina, the so-called Native American women that are on, welfare or SNAP benefits. We're going to see what happens to you. Especially, someone like, the lady in this video, her name is Kiesha. Corn means seed, she is one of the daughters of Zion, hiding her, bald head, by the way. And, I'm not trying to, just joan on it, whatever, but, we've been warning, you women about the coming lamenting that you will have these last days of the last days of Esau kingdom. And now you're starting experiencing it even before the first hit, or the 1st of November, that is. And now you're looking for help from, Esau, that old serpent. And he's beguiled you again, because only reason why the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, the wicked, had a use for you is to destroy our families. Now there's no more use for you. And during that time, you lived in great pleasure. Jake men paying child support, can't even live his life really. He's so behind on child support, getting locked up for child support. It's a lot of Jake's work, man. But because it didn't work out with you, you got him on child support. His life was destroyed. So he can't even move on and start another family with another woman. The women get alimony, all that stuff to help you live in pleasure while the family is destroyed. All right, so this is 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 6. It says, but she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. See? And like I said, you women have lived in great pleasure, man. And now that pleasure, all right, is gone because when you go into the scriptures, right? Let's go real quick to Isaiah 24. Isaiah 24 and 11. There's a crying for wine in the streets, right? That's the knowledge, man. All right, knowledge and understanding of what's going on. All right, while the world is changing and it's in so much decay, that's because we at the end of this age, man, of Esau, Edom the wicked. Okay, and while he's going down, his sidekick, the so-called black woman and the so-called Latina woman, all right, you guys are going down with him. All right, you help destroy your own families by letting the so-called white man influence you to thinking you're better than or above your husbands. But now that same old man you kicked to the curb, now he's not there to provide no more because you kicked him to the curb. Now you want someone to come in and help you, man. No one's going to come in to help you. It says all joy is darkened, the mirth of the land is gone. So the mirth of the city of confusion is gone, man. All right, she didn't have no mirth in her eyes. Look at their eyes. She's ready to pour down crying. She probably got about 4 or 5 little diglets. About 3 or 4 baby daddies with them 4 or 5 kids she got. Which is average. That's the average so-called black woman. And you Latinas. You see the so-called Latin women. She got about 5, 6 kids. But she got like 3 or 4 baby daddies too. Following behind her sisters of the Southern Kingdom. Now it's a time where you begin to lament. Okay? And before I get that, let me grab something right here, right? Let me grab 2 Ezra 16. And let's see, let's start at verse 33. This is the GNT, by the way, the Good News translation. It says, young women will be in mourning because there is no one to marry them. You don't want the average man. All right, the average Jake man work. But, that 9-to-5, hardworking man just trying to survive in Esau's world, as far as so-called black man, so-called Hispanic man, so-called Native American man, that 9-to-5 that we work, it's not appeasing to these women. But now they're so desperate because the eyes of Cornisha from that news clip, she's in the news footage with desperation in her eyes. She got like 8 or 9 days to the 1st of November. And then, mind you, a lot of you women be selling your stamps. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do, whatever. I don't know. But I know a lot of you sell your stamps to get cash for it. You pay by what? You want 400 stamps, you get what? You gotta give her $200. Some of them charge a little extra, whatever. So they can have regular cash, regular money to buy different things. And usually it's to buy bullshit that they don't need. Or buy stuff for a bullshit nigga they laid up with that ain't the father of none of these kids. Or maybe the last one she had is his. But he ain't doing shit. She probably kicked that nigga to the curb too. Right? Before that interview. You never know, man. But they're mourning because there's no more so-called black and Latino men, Native American men, the Israelite men, right? that wants these women, man. The Western woman is done. The Western woman is done, man. So it says, wives will be in mourning because they have lost their husbands. Right, and this the ones that's going out to war. The other eligible bachelors that's headed to war to be destroyed. Daughters will be in mourning because there is no one to help them. Right. All the young men will be killed in war, and all the married men will die in the famine. So the ones that's left here are going to die in these plagues, famine, what have you. Because why? The Israelite men that don't have Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua ain't going to make it. The Israelite man that's faithless, that's not of the elect, ain't going to make it. So say you do find him in that day. Well, he ain't going to make it if he's not of the elect. And that's just what it is. The elect is going to, only the elect going to make it out of the destruction of Babylon the Great. You know? And them are the facts. You know, them are the hardcore facts that you don't want to accept, but it is the reality. You know, it's clearly a reality. So you women are you know, looking in the worst case right now. Because why? The very man you put out, you thought you didn't need him. Now you need him. You know? Now you need him. But he's not there because you done away with him. And if I was that man, I'm gonna take you back. Shit. You know? But this is what it's come to. All right. This is Isaiah 32. And Isaiah 32 and verse 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice. You careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall you be troubled. You careless women, for the venture shall fail. The gathering shall not come right. Now you ain't got no food to buy. Why? Because you don't have no means to buy any food. You got food in the stores right now still. You can't buy it. You can't swipe that bridge card. You know, they take away child support, all that shit. So now it's time for you women to start crying and lamenting. You know, you need to think about, stability. Because a man brings stability to a household. A man or a father is the foundation of a household. Let me get that real quick. That's Rock 3, I believe. Yeah, let me see. This is Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 3, and verse 9. It says, for the blessing of the father establisheth the houses of children, but the curse of the mother rooted out foundations. So a father, all right, he's the vessel the Lord used to establish, all right, a family, you know. But the curse of your mom, your mom being, a woman that's, as the scriptures call women, a contentious woman, right? Excuse me, because that's the thing that a lot of you Israelite men out there, you don't consider that your mama was contentious with your father. All right, being the sole reason he's not there. On top of, Esau and, beguiled her. Okay? That's why your childhood was so chaotic. The ones you didn't grow up with a father. Or no kind of father figure. You know, because your mom, man. A lot of problem with our family start with, usually our mothers, man. And then they turn you Israelite men, all right, when you was boys, they turned you against your father a lot of the time. You didn't think your father was anything because you're with your mother, based on what she would tell you and put in your mind of your father. But when you grow up, you realize, man, usually your mom is the, unstable mentally, she's unstable, man. You know? But now you're seeing these women lament because they ain't got no kind of man there to protect them and provide, provisions for them. Isaiah 32:11, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. Right. Meaning what? Hey, yeah, you should be fearful. All hell get ready to break loose. Which really, all hell is breaking loose. It really have. Just ain't reached the city near you yet. But it's spreading like wildfire right now. With these troops, the Homeland Security, Verse 12, they shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. See? Lament. Do you know what it means to lament? Excuse me. To wail, lament, mourn. See? They're mourning. See? And you watch. They're going to lament more and more. Hey, don't be surprised if they start deleting themselves. These women get ready to be brought low as far as being humbled. And that's a good thing for them. But a lot of them ain't going to make it because, why? They so used up. Who wants a woman that lives in all this pleasure from jumping from rod to rod and got all these goddamn kids, man? Like all these men. I mean, I don't look at that as precious. As nothing that's, worth taking in and trying to make a wife out of her. That's foolishness in my eyes. But hey, I guess eye is the beauty of the beholder. In the beauty, how you go, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yeah, that's how you say it. It's over, man. Let me get this real quick. And so-called white men have beguiled women to destroy your own homes. And now what, Now what, You just left out there on your own. All right? No one to fend for you. Sirach 13:6. If ye have need of thee, hold on, Shalakia. Yeah, I'm gonna go right to the point. Sirach 13:6. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. Right. Because, you look at how the assistant program was set up, right? So they passed it originally for the Edomite woman, the so-called white woman. All right. But when they seen, you so-called black women and the rest of you tribes, women receive welfare, because you look at the footage even back then, the interviews, it was the so-called black woman, the so-called Puerto Rican woman, the ones that took it, and that's spiritual too, because the Judite women and the Ephraimite women, which is the so-called Negro and Puerto Rican women, they were the two heads of the kingdoms when we split as a nation. In the videos I seen, they were talking about the welfare, and then they had the rest of the tribes. It's a car, Gad was in there, all the tribes that lived over here in Babylon, they was interviewing them about assistance, you know. And I remember the Israelite man was like, hey, I don't want to live off no government and stuff. I make my own money, establish my own family, and be able to depend on my own self. You know, I don't want to depend on no government. I remember watching that video. Because you know why he was saying that? Because Jake knew back then that the government was using their women to destroy their families. Because if if the woman got benefits, okay, she can't have no man or husband in the home, or she wouldn't, receive benefits. And what that do, that destroyed the family dynamic. The woman being the weaker vessel, the kids will run all over a woman. Because the father established the order in the confines of a home. He's the authority. He established the authority. He established the respect for the parents, the disciplinary actions that need to be taken, things like that, So if he's not there, the house is ran in chaos. So the so-called white man had need of the so-called black and Latin woman. Then we're gonna help you with food stamps, we just cash assistance. We'll help you get a job, right? But where's the man? He's getting financially broken down to the point of he can't even hardly live. He will speak he will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? See? Because you know why? Once he beguiled you and kicked you to the curb, or used thee for his profit, then kicked you to the curb. That's it. That's it. The only thing he needs you for is to destroy your family. Verse 7, and he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice, and at the last he will laugh thee to scorn afterward. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee. Right. See? And that's why the so-called white man, he's tired of you so-called black women. And that's why he's talking shit and really, basically turning his back on you. And like, yep, she thought we really cared for her. Nope, we don't need you. Thanks for helping us destroy your husband and your family. Verse 8, beware that thou be not deceived and brought down into in thy jollity. See? And the woman, just like in the garden where the serpent, beguiled her, which was the actual man. That was the wicked during that time. She's still in that same old serpent beguile her to this very day. Let's look up this word jollity. Yeah, man. Let me see if I can find this word. Jollity, it says lively and cheerful activity or celebration. Yeah. Yeah, it says beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity. So jollity is what? When you living, it says cheerfully in celebration. Yeah, you living in pleasure. You living in pleasure. The quality of being cheerful. Yeah, man. See? What it says on the answer mine. Jollity. It says merrymaking, revelry, agreeableness, attractiveness, beauty, elegance, gaiety, cheerfulness, amorous, passion, life. Life of pleasure. There you go. Life of pleasure. Again, going back to 1 Timothy 5. She that liveth in pleasure, is dead while she yet liveth. But now that pleasure, that mirth is gone. As B.B. King said, the thrill is gone. Look at her. I mean, her eyes tell it all. Her eyes tell it all. You don't gotta, ask her how she's doing or how she's feeling. she's looking, looking like all hope is lost, man. But some of you women are going to be spared by the Lord. The ones of you that's going to be set up for men of the Lord, and the Lord to orchestrate that. See, brothers, you don't have to worry about, these women, because you get ready to have the upper hand of choosing the choices of the litter, or the pick of the litter, as Jake called it, of women. Isaiah 4:1, and in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying we will eat our own bread. Excuse me, saying we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Yeah, you're gonna dress and put on things you want them to wear. They're gonna cook for you. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Right? They want you to, take away the reproach from them being what? Put to the ringer. All right, just what? Catching hell out here. So you women out there that are kind of decent, whoever you are, the hope of man of the Lord grab you up, man. Because the Lord is getting ready to make the men, all right, the men of Israel, all right, which the elect men, all right, the most precious men out here in these times or these days to come, which are upon us right now, really. Isaiah 13:12, I will make a man more precious than the fine gold. See, the men are going to be the highest sought out, commodity, all right, from the hell that's getting ready to unleash upon you women. Because not being able to feed yourself and them kids is going to be a trembling time for you. A trembling time for you. So a man going to be made what? More precious than fine gold. It says even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. And that's the man that fear the Lord. The man that fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, which is the Israelite man. They're of the elect. That's going to do what? Give you that protection, all right, and comfort from Jacob's time of trouble that's upon you. All right, Isaiah 32:2, and the man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in the weary land. See? Which is what? Comfort. And if that man's of the elect, and the Lord see fit to join you to that man, then you're gonna be okay. But if not, ain't no hope for you women, man. It's over. And that's the times we're at right now. And then a lot of you women have caused a lot of trauma and hurt to the men, all right, throughout these years, man. A lot of men have lost a lot because of you women. So why would they want to take you on and take you in? You know, but anyways, you know, that's just what it is, man. All right. You know, all these bad chicks. Nobody wants no bad chick. Real men want fucking humble, pleasant women. And you ain't gonna be humble till, you know, November 1st. Anyways, with that, I'm gonna leave it there, man. You know, all praise and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach Kodash. I want to say shalom to the Lord's elect. And Lord willing, I'll see you in the next video. Till then, shalom.